Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Uh, there was an affidavit that the government of India gave the Delhi High Court saying that, listen, you know what, PM fund jo hai na, PM fund is not our fund. We don't know anything about PM fund, Baba. So, ye jo PM fund is a private fund. There are few ministers who are working as ex gratia officers in PM fund, but it is not a government fund. So you know what, RTI and all is not lagu. RTI and all doesn't come under PM fund. So this is what they said. Let's discuss PM fund. Let's get right into the show. Okay, now my basic understanding. I could be right in this, I could be wrong in this, but this is my opinion. You see, to me, Prime Minister is not a person. Prime Minister is not a person. Prime Minister is a constitutional authority. ठीक है ना? So, Prime Minister keeps on changing. Individual keeps on changing. Once upon a time, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister. Today, Mr. Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister. People keep on changing, but Prime Minister, the position of the constitutional position called the Prime Minister remains the same. To me, Prime Minister is the head of the government of India. He runs the government, he or she runs the government of India, according to me. Now, Prime Minister's Citizen Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situation Funds, which is called as PM Cares, to me is a government body. Why? Because it is Prime Minister's whatever, Citizens Assistance and Relief Funds. It is Prime Minister's, which means the head of the government, the person who runs this country, it is named after him. It is named after that position. So it is supposed to be a government fund. Now all the money that went to Prime Minister's fund, to my mind as a citizen of this country, I was hoping it is all going to a government coffers. It is going, there is a Comptroller and Auditor General of India who is controlling it. There is government protocols which are all followed, and the funds are going to this particular account. It is all government. It is all kosher. This is what I was thinking. Now, what surprises me is when the government writes a letter and says that, listen, or tells the Delhi High Court that, you know what, ye na apna fund nahi, hamara fund nahi hai, baba. It is nothing to do with the government. They say merely because some government officers provides ex gratia service to the public trust, how can it be government of India, baba? Home Minister is there, Defense Minister is there in the fund, but they are there, but how can it be government fund? You see, the problem is, what is good for the geese is not good for the gander when it comes to this government. You do it, it is fine. We do it, that is sin. You do it, it is nationalistic. Others do it, it is anti-national. You do it, no problem. Law is completely with them. Others do it, ED, IT, SFIO, ABCD, XYZ, the whole jing-pang goes and raids them morning, afternoon, night. Ye kaisa hua? How is this possible? How can money be collected under the PM Cares or Prime Minister's, again I am saying Prime Minister's Citizens Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situation Fund? How can you collect money? And how can you say that, you know what, public cannot audit it? You cannot write an RTI and say kitna paisa hai. You cannot say it, baba. That was private fund hai. Prime Minister's private fund. So I wonder, with the same logic, can I start India Relief Fund, India Relief and Emergency Relief Fund? Can I start that and put the India logo there? And I start with 5 private parties. Will I be allowed that? I am also a citizen of India. Mr. Narendra Modi is also a citizen of India. He says this is not government. So one shouldn't see him as the Prime Minister. One should see him as a citizen because he is also a citizen. I am also a citizen. Can I start it? And the answer is no. The answer is I will be put behind bars, and truly so. Why? Because it is not supposed to be. I am misinterpreting when I am saying that India fund, India charitable, India citizen assist and relief fund. If I start, I am misinterpreting the facts to my donors, because they would believe that when I put that logo of the government of India, they would believe it's a government fund and they will give the money. Some of them give it for other reasons that I don't want to get into, but the fact is that is how people give the monies. And the fact remains that I am misinterpreting facts. I am misrepresenting facts. And when somebody comes to me and says, boss, you show me what money you collected, you are saying that, Baba, that I will not show. I'm not government, it's private. You see, the biggest problem nowadays is about NGO fundings. NGO fundings, there has been CBI raids and there have been that raids because this NGO is anti-national, that NGO is anti-national, this NGO gets money from somewhere else, this NGO gets money from somewhere else, and this particular actor gets some money from somewhere else, and this particular actor was supposed to do something but he didn't do it. So all this is only relevant to others. How come we have two rules in our country? How come it is, the privileged and the non-privileged, the underprivileged? How come the line is so blatant? How come the line is so blatant? I'm not going to get into the details of this and all that, because we all know, and what I said is the detail. Somebody went to file an RTI asking ke bhai accounts dikhao. They said no, we will not show you accounts because it is nothing, you are nobody to ask for accounts because it's not a government fund. This is what happens. People said, why it is not government fund? There are ministers in the Prime Minister's ka naam hai bhai ye fund mein. There are ministers involved in the fund. They are in the board. They said, theek hai, ministers are ex gratia services they are providing. To say kya hai? What of it? What of it? So the fact remains that PM cares is like electoral bonds, like a lot of other things, are things which are not transparent. It's not a transparent fund. It is not a transparent body. At least to me, at least to my mind. I may be wrong. To my mind, it is not transparent. I am a citizen of India and I have the right to say that I believe this is not transparent, and I am saying so. It is not transparent. I hope the judiciary takes note of that. I hope something would be done about it, so that I as an Indian feels comfortable that there is a judiciary, there is a government, there is something called as transparency, and therefore I would still believe that I am still staying in a democratic country. That being said, we need money to survive, and the way it can happen is only by you subscribing to us. We have no other means, and therefore we would urge you to subscribe to our channel. Log on to www.hwnews.in. Subscribe to us. Till I see you next time. Namaskar.